What is going on, guys? It is Ed here once again for your news and reveals for the week of April 1st to April 25th. I don't know how these videos keep getting away from me. I honestly don't. But with this and the new plans I have in place, we will constantly be back on track. So, let's get into it. First off, general news. They announced the release date of Set 9, which will be August 29th. And that will be the units featuring Daikaiser and various friends. Let's go over some more details. Previously, we revealed this on this channel, but here's an English version of the graphic. Youthquake units appearing in this set: Glistening Nebula Night Lord Ceres and Bogier the Sky Ruler, played by Taika Endo and Kujuko in the Youthquake series. Other units that are appearing from Craycross Epic is Sugary and Scaryland Heart Lulu, Malworm Sibbalt, and Blazing Lion Platina Ezel. Ezel finally comes back to his Platina form, as well as Sybil making a comeback as his pure Mailworm form. And we have a brand new Dark States unit that looks pretty interesting, like a Willy Wonka type character. I can't wait to actually kind of build that deck. It looks kind of interesting. They also announced on August 28th, dropping simultaneously, new starter decks featuring Zero Tendo and Shiki Ote will be dropping. It's another version of the Vergilia starter deck, with including more cards that were not included initially. And Shiki Ote is the deck for Estation. They also announced that the Volume 2 of Skyride is coming to the West, and it will also feature another promo card, Deeplands Metal Death, that will go on sale July 18th this year. Now, let's get into our card reveals. Finishing off our Set 8 reveals, now that the set is officially out in Japan, Stealth Rogue of Bugaku Maika. Auto in the rearguard circle. At the end of the battle, your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Gree in its card name attack cost, Counterblast 1, draw a card if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, and your unit was not placed onto the rearguard from Soul this turn. Retire 2 of your rearguards in the same column as this unit. Choose up to one of each Unison Dragon, Andra, and Dragritter of Flameblade Gree from your Soul and call them to the rearguard circle in the same column, and they will get plus 5k each until the end of battle. And then at the end of that turn, you put them back into your Soul. Dragritter, Jumas. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Gree in its card name, Counterblast 1, retire this unit. Choose up to 2 other units with either Gree or Undra in their different card names from your drop and call them to the rearguard circle. Argos Sirens, Siphus. Auto in the rearguard circle. When your Tear Dragon race or Mermaid race units stand, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Argos Siren in its card name, cost, put this unit to the bottom of your deck, draw a card, choose one of those units, and they will gain plus 5k until the end of turn. Argos Siren, Vayashil. Continuous in the rearguard or Guardian Circle. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Argos Siren in its card name, this unit gets Intercept and can intercept from the back row. And if your Bind Zone has a Tiding card, this unit gets plus 5k. It's all or nothing on the big game. Play this with Counterblast 1. Shuffle your deck, then choose a number from grades 1 to 3 and declare it. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck. Put all of the cards that declared grade from among them into your hand and discard the rest. One Who Walks from Zero, Blagmire Nexus. Continuous in the Vanguard Circle. This unit is also regarded as Fated One of Zero, Blagmire. During your turn, if your soul has a card with the same name as this unit gets all of their divine skills, and all of the front row units get plus 5k. Act on the Vanguard Circle, once per turn. This cost can be paid with Bind a grade 3 or greater card with Blagmire in its card name from Soul face down, or the original cost would be Bind 4 cards from the Soul face down. Your opponent chooses 2 of their rear guards, bind them face down, and this unit gets plus 5k for every 2 face down cards in your bind zone until the end of turn. Choose up to 1 face down card from your bind zone, reveal it, and if the revealed card is grade 3 or less, call it to the rearguard circle. If you did not reveal a card, you may draw a card. And Blagmire, of course, will be getting a secret rare version. Going into Blagmire's support, Baroness Ripper on the Guardian Circle. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blagmire in its card name, and your bind zone has 4 or more face down cards, this unit gets plus 5k shield, meaning it's a 10k shield, but if your bind zone has 8 or more, it's 10k instead of 5k, making it 15k. Carve Out Dragon. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blagmire in its card name, look at the top card of your deck and either put it to the top of your deck or into your Soul. If you put it into Soul, this unit gets plus 5k until the end of turn. If your bind zone has 4 or more face down cards, it's plus 10 instead of plus 5. Cry of the Crow, Voltac. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blagmire in its card name and your bind zone has 4 or more face down cards, this card gets all of the following. Continuous on the rearguard circle. This unit may not be chosen by your opponent's card effects. Continuous on the rearguard circle, this unit gets boost. Continuous on the rearguard or guardian circle, this unit gets plus 5k power and 5k shield. It's also active during your opponent's turn. Elaborate Wizard. Auto. When this unit is placed on the rearguard from hand, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, choose a card from among them, put it into your soul, put the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. Auto on the rearguard circle. At the end of the battle, this unit boosted. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Blankmire in its card name, Counterblast 1, choose a normal unit from soul and put it into your hand, and then bind this unit face down. Lethal Salt Dragon. Auto on the rearguard circle. When this unit attack hits a Vanguard, if you have a Vanguard with Scarlet Flame in its card name, that means basically Gandiva. Cost, Soul Blast 1, choose up to one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. If you did not retire a card, draw a card. And it also has the continuous skill in the Guardian Circle. If your bind zone has 5 or more face down cards, this gains 5k shield, making it the total of 10k guard. Dragritter Shahid. Auto on the rearguard circle. When either of your other units is placed on the rearguard circle in the same column as this unit during your battle phase, or another unit in the same column as this unit stands during your battle phase, if you have the Vanguard with Scarlet Flame in its card name, once again, Gandiva, this unit gets plus 5k power until the end of turn. She's finally here! Kostune. Auto on the back road rearguard circle. Once per turn, when your unit is placed on the rearguard circle from the same column as this unit during your battle phase, Energy Blast 3 and stand this unit. So the only decks that this really truly shines, in my personal opinion, would be either Chris Rain or Kyrie, both her previous iterations and her new one, which we'll get to later. Study in Silence Estuary. Auto in the rearguard circle, once per turn. When this opponent's rearguard stands during your battle phase, cost Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1, and this unit gets minus 5k until the end of turn. Houndraiser Hinami. Auto in the rearguard circle. When your High Beast unit attacks from the back row center column, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Houndraiser in its card name, this unit gets plus 5k until the end of turn. If your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, you get to choose one of your other rearguards and it gains plus 5k until the end of turn. Auto in the rearguard circle. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked while boosted by a High Beast. If you have a Vanguard with Houndraiser in its card name, cost, retire this unit, choose one of your rearguards with Houndraiser in its card names, and until the end of your opponent's next turn, that unit gains the red text that it cannot be chosen or retired by opponent's card abilities. Do keep in mind, that does mean it is vulnerable to binding. River Begone. Auto in the back row center rearguard circle. When this unit attacks, if you have a grade 3 or greater unit with Houndraiser in its card name, cost Counterblast 1, choose one of your opponent's grade 1 or less rearguards and retire it. This unit gets plus 5k until the end of turn, and at the end of that battle, put this unit into your soul. And now, off to what we were talking about earlier, Ashistis Delta Live Kyrie. It's probably just Triangle because Bermuda Triangle, but it's me and my buddies have been making up names for cards, like the Spiky Spiny. We call it Spiky to this power of Spiny because of the arrow pointing up in its name. Continuous on the Vanguard Circle. If your opponent's grade 3 or greater, all your rearguards placed this turn gain plus 5k. Auto, when this unit attacks, choose up to 2 of your other rearguards, return them to hand. Counterblast 1, choose up to 2 units from hand, and then call them to open rearguard circles. And if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, this unit gets drive plus 1 until the end of battle. Auto on the Vanguard Circle. At the end of your turn, choose up to one of your rearguards and return it to hand. If your Persona wrote this turn, you can choose 2 cards instead of 1. And Kyrie will also receive a secret rare. Going into Kyrie's new support, Step by Step Legiti. When its unit is placed on the rearguard circle, if you have a grade 3 with Vanguard with Kyrie in its name, choose up to 1 unit card with Ashistis in its card name from your drop and put it into your soul. During your turn, if you have a Vanguard with Ashistis in its card name, this unit gains plus 2k. Resonance of Reflection Apelele. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, choose a grade 3 Mermaid Race from your ride deck, and you may reveal it. If you revealed a card, or you have a grade 3 Vanguard that is a Mermaid Vanguard, cost Counterblast 1, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and choose up to 1 Mermaid normal unit without Sentinel, or up to 1 Prism Pearl and Twinkle Powder from among them, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Shuffle the deck. If you do not put a card in the hand, countercharge 1. Auto on the rearguard circle, once per turn. When your other front row rearguards is returned to hand by the ability of a grade 3 or greater Kyrie in its card name, energy lasts 4, and stand all your rearguards in the same column as this unit. And then, going over some more secret rares, the Mystic that Rezael gained is gaining secret. Vortex Dragon played in Dear Days is gaining a secret, and that's it. Now, let's go over the August and September promo packs. The reprints that we'll be receiving in the promo packs is Drag Resonance, which is for the Grisandra deck, but it's also been seen use in decks such as Overlord and Varga. Hero Base Aegis, used primarily in the Heroes deck, which recently will be gaining support. And Knight of Piercing Cadwalla. You pick your poison. This is useful in a bunch of Keter's Sanctuary decks. Primarily, more prolifically I should say, it's been used in Youthberg in the past. Okay, and new cards that are appearing in the promo packs. Knight of Straight Shot Illitid. Continuous in the Rearguard Circle. If you have a grade 3 Vanguard with either the name of Bastion or Alden in its card name, this unit gains boost. Auto in the back row Rearguard Circle once per turn. When either of your other units is placed on the Rearguard Circle during your battle phase, or a unit in the same column as this unit is stood, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Bastion or Alden in its card name, you may stand this unit. If you stand, at the end of the turn, put this card into Soul. Auto, when this unit is placed on the Guardian Circle, choose a grade 3 card with either Bastion or Alden in its card name from your ride deck, and you may reveal it. If either you revealed a card, or your grade 3 Vanguard is a card that has Bastion or Alden in its name, this unit gains plus 5k shield until the end of battle. Shower Turnip. Act from the Rearguard Circle or from the drop. If a Noblesse token is on your Rearguard Circle, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your Noblesse tokens and perform one of the following. You can put this card face up as a plant gauge for that unit. If a card with the same name as this unit was not put to the bottom of your deck this turn, put the top 3 of your deck face up as plant gauges for that unit, and this card gets put to the bottom of your deck. Next skill is Continuous in the Plant Gauge. If the Noblesse token that has this card as a plant gauge cannot be affected by your opponent's effects. That means it cannot be chosen, retired, locked, bound, moved, anything. It can only be targeted for attacks. Auto. When this card is discarded as a plant gauge, bind this card. This effect is mandatory. So the deck that this would go for is Granfia, if it's not obvious with the Noblesse tokens. And I'll also have my editor put up a symbol of the Noblesse token just so you have full context of what we are talking about. Fortune Garden Fiu. Auto. Either at the end of the battle this card attack during your turn, or when it's discarded from hand during your turn. If you have a Vanguard with Hasseret in its card name, you may put this card to Soul. Act while it's in the drop. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Hasseret in its card name, and you have not have a Rearguard with the same name as this on the board, Counterblast 1 and call this card to the Rearguard Circle. It gets plus 5k until the end of turn, and if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit can attack from the back row. Then, the one card Curly is so excited for, Ghostly Demon Lady Flaros. When this card is discarded from your hand during your turn, you may put it into your Soul instead. Auto. On the Rearguard Circle, once per turn. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, choose up to one card from your drop and put it into your Soul. And if your Vanguard's grade is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5k until the end of turn. And then Heroes is receiving a brand new base. That is a grade 1, which is what they've been hoping for a good while now. Galactic Base IS. Act while it's in the order zone once per turn. Cost is resting this card in the order zone. Choose a card with B Hero in its card name from your drop that does not share the same name as a card in your order zone and scout it into your base. Act in the order zone. If you have 4 or more bases in your order zone, cost, put this stand card into your Soul. Choose up to one grade 2 or less normal unit with B Hero in its card name from your drop and put it into your hand. Choose one of your Vanguards with B Hero in its card name and reduce the next time you pay the cost for that unit's ability by Counterblast 1 until the end of turn. Meaning any costs that require a Counterblast, if you perform that skill, then it is free. Orphis also got some love with a new world order. Boundary of Twilight. Auto. When this card's put into your order zone, you may choose a grade 3 card with Orphis in its card name from your right deck and reveal it. If either you revealed one or your Vanguard is currently a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Orphis in its card name, draw a card. Continuous while it's in the order zone. If your order zone only has world cards, the following effects are active, which it's the reminder text of Dark Knight and Abyssal Dark Knight. So we'll skip ahead to the next skill. Act in the order zone. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Orphis in its card name, and this card was not put into your order zone this turn, Soul Blast 1 and rest this card, call a Shadow Army token to the Rearguard Circle, and this card name becomes Casting Shadows in the Dark Knight until the end of turn. It's relevant for cards such as Polarxis Dragon, which I have on screen for you right now. Festival Collection. So we got more information on the Festival Collection, which is basically, if you don't know, that's basically our big year reprint set for the season. So let's go and talk about it some more. So they gave us some generic cards, such as Fierce Flame Dragon Almdeus. Cost, Rearguard or Guardian Circle. This unit gets Intercept and plus 5k shield. It also has the ability on the Rearguard Circle once per turn. When this unit attacks, if your Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, Energy Blast 3, choose one of your opponent's Rearguards, retire it, and this unit gets plus 5k until the end of that battle. If you damages 4 or more cards, and you Persona Road this turn, this unit gets another plus 5 until the end of battle for each grade of the unit retired by this effect. So if you put a grade 3, that means it gets plus 15k. Here is Dark State's version. Fixed Timed Dragon Proesroigia. Cost, on the Rearguard or Guardian Circle, this unit gets Intercept and plus 5k shield. And this one has the same skill as the previous one, except it's slightly different, because if instead of the plus 15k, this unit gets the red text. When your opponent's Vanguard is put on the Guardian Circle, if unit's grade is equal to that of the unit put in the soul by this unit's original auto ability this turn, that unit gets minus 5k shield for until the end of turn, and that gains that skill until the end of battle. Stoichea's version is Imperial Fang Dragon Grelion. Same skill, everything is the same, except where this deviates is this unit gets an additional plus 5k power until the end of turn, and then you choose up to one order card from your drop and put it to your hand. This is decent for decks such as Roa, Granfia, and Maelstrom, and Argo Sirens. Cataclysmic Dragon Grissadam. Continuous on the Rearguard or Guardian Circle. Same skill, but for Brandgate, but the Brandgate specific skill is until the end of the turn, this unit gets plus 5k power and your opponent cannot play Blitz orders from hand, which means it locks them out of decks such as Freezing Wave and Elementaria Sanctitude. And then Lyrical Monasterio's dragon is Blossoming Ballad Dragon Fubrum. Its main intercept skill is the same, but this says if this unit attacks a Vanguard, if your Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, cost Energy Blast 3, this unit gets plus 5k power into the end of turn, and then at the end of that battle, choose up to one of your other rear guards and return it to hand. If your damage zone has 4 or more cards, or you Persona Road this turn, you choose 2 cards instead of 1, which people are kind of liking this as a Yuika budget replacement, even though the budget is not that much because this is a festival collection card, but people are actually taking well to this dragon. Cavalry Armor Dragon Shezerveld. This is the Keter Sanctuary Dragon. All the same ones that we were talking about, the generics that are in the Festival Booster. But the one that makes it unique to Keter Sanctuary is look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose up to one grade 3 or less unit, call it to the Rearguard Circle, and it gains plus 5k until the end of turn. Then you may put the rest of the cards you looked at to the bottom of your deck in any order. Vergilia also is getting a new form in the Festival Booster. It's getting Vergilia Rewrite Form Alf Knights. This is when he was facing off against Alfred and Aichi. Rewrite is a new keyword. Act in the hand. When your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, cost bind a Rewrite the Scars Vergilia on the Vanguard Circle and ride this card as standing, and perform all of the following. At the end of that turn, ride the card bound for this cost as rested. Search your deck or drop for up to 1 Galaxian, which is the race that Vergilia's cards are, and call it to the Rearguard Circle. Search your deck or drop for up to 1 Ultimate Skill card, reveal it, and put it into hand. And if you search the deck, shuffle the deck. Until the end of turn, this unit gets the red text auto on the Vanguard Circle once per turn. When this unit attacks, cost Counterblast 1, stand all your front row rear guards, and this unit gets drive plus 1 until the end of battle. And all your front row units gain plus 5k for each card of the same name as that unit in your soul. Oh, as this unit in your soul. So you won't really Persona ride with this deck, unfortunately, but it will gain power no matter what, because it's going to keep putting these Alf Knights in the soul. And also they're doing a collaboration with Skyride, Starry Sky Knight 0. This card's also regarded as Knight of Silence Gallatin. It has basically Gallatin's skills on the can, but I'll reiterate for them in case you guys don't know who Gallatin is. Although, if you have a Vanguard with only Royal Paladin as its clan, this cost may be played with Energy Blast 3 when this unit is placed on the Rearguard Circle. If you have a Rearguard with the same name as this unit, Counterblast 1 and draw a card. Auto on the Rearguard Circle. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater unit, this unit gets plus 5k until the end of battle. If you have 4 or more units, it's plus 10 instead of plus 5. Auto on the Rearguard Circle once per turn. When this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard with only Royal Paladin as its clan and you Persona Road this turn, and this unit is stood by the effects of your Vanguard, Cost, Counterblast 1, and your opponent cannot activate auto abilities of their cards until the end of battle, and that means all cards, not just cards on the board. Shining Winged Star Dragon Vergilia. So this card is also regarded as Soul Saver Dragon, so you know what the inspiration behind this one is. Continuous on the rearguard circle. During your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Alfred in its card name, this unit gets plus 5k power. If your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, it gets all of the following. Auto front row rearguard circle. At the beginning of your battle phase, Counterblast 1, choose 3 of your units and they gain plus 5k until the end of turn. If your Persona wrote this turn, choose all your units instead of just 3. Auto in the rearguard circle. When this unit attacks, if this unit stood by your Vanguard's ability this turn and a drive check was not performed during the battle your rearguard attacked this turn, Soul Blast 1 King of Knights Alfred, and until the end of that battle, increase or decrease this unit's drive to 1 and you perform drive checks. So you know what that means, guys? We are getting the King of Knights Alfred encounter into Standard. Continuous on the Vanguard circle. During your turn, this unit cannot be boosted. And if your soul has a Blaster Blade, this unit gets plus 2k for each of your rear guards. And if it got 8k or more, and your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, this unit gains critical plus 1. Act on the Vanguard circle once per turn. Cost, Energy Blast 3. Search your deck for up to 1 grade 3 or less card with only Royal Paladin in its clan. Call it to the rearguard circle and then shuffle your deck. Choose one of that unit's auto abilities and reduce the next time you pay that cost by 1 counterblast until the end of turn. Auto in the Vanguard circle. When this unit attacks, Counterblast 1, choose one of your rearguards with only Royal Paladin in its clan, and stand it. If your opponent's grade 3 or greater, choose 2 instead of 1. And if you notice, these guys, since they're also basically reprints of Knight Assigned Skeleton and Soul Saver Dragon, they do have Royal Paladin clans attached to them. So they are valid targets and they will be your main targets for Alfred to restand. Wrought Iron Knight Sharburn. This is more support that we're gaining in the Festival Collection. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with either Cothy Blaze or Zedlands in its card name, this card gets boost and all of the following. Auto, when this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, choose a Smithy card from your order zone and you may stand it. If you did not stand a card, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and choose up to 1 card from among them and put it into your soul, then shuffle your deck. Auto in the rearguard circle once per turn. At the end of the battle, your Vanguard attacked. If your opponent's grade 3 or greater, discard a card from your hand and perform either choose one of your Vanguards and increase or decrease its drive to 1 until the end of turn, or all of your front row units gain plus 5k until the end of turn. The front row power increase is only a one-shot effect and will only apply to units at the time of resolution. So as you can see at the very top, this is for decks such as Eternal and Immortal Gear Parrot. If your Vanguard is a Gear Dragon, which means it's either Chronojet Dragon or Time Stamping Dragon, this card gets all of the following. Auto, when this unit is placed on the rearguard circle, choose up to 1 normal unit without Sentinel from either your drop or bind zone and put it to the bottom of your deck. If you chose, this unit gets plus 5k until the end of turn. It also gains the skill Auto, when this unit is either put on the bottom of your deck from rearguard by your card's ability during your turn or is bound from rearguard by your card's ability this turn. If your Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, cost is either Counterblast 1 or Energy Blast 3. Draw a card, choose one of your units, and it gains plus 5 until the end of turn. Intent Disseminator. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with either Impaldio or Nordlinger in its card name, this card gets all the following. Auto, when this unit is placed on the rearguard circle. Cost, Soul Blast 1. Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 either Meteorite or a grade 3 card with a different name than your Vanguard without Regalis piece from among them. Reveal it and put it into your hand and then shuffle your deck. It also gains a skill. When this unit boosts, this unit gains plus 2k until the end of battle. So I don't see this card being used that much in Nordlinger because there's too many cards that just do what it does but better in terms of searching out meteors. But in Paldio, that can help with consistency and getting more of your cards back out onto the board. Throbbing Pomegranate. I have a problem with the first word of its name, of why is this pomegranate throbbing? But continuous, if your order card was bound from drop by an ability of your Vanguard this turn, this unit gets all of the following. Act from the drop. If you do not have a rearguard with the same name as this unit, Energy Blast 3 and call this card to the rearguard circle. It also gains the ability Auto on the rearguard circle at the start of your battle phase. You may have this unit get the red text, continuous on the rearguard circle. On your turn, if you do not have another rearguard with the same name as this unit, all of your front row rearguards, original power 5k or less, get plus 5k until the end of turn. If you did, At the end of that turn, put this unit into the soul. So this is for decks such as Roa, but Roa's cards are typically not the plant tokens themselves, but it's made for rather Claudine in my personal opinion. She deals with plant tokens, and I feel like it will work out better. Watch your step. Marula, auto in the rearguard circle. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked or boosted. If a drive check was performed during the battle, your rearguard attacked this turn. Cost, put 2 of your rearguards in the same column as this unit into your soul and perform one of the following. Choose a grade 2 or normal unit without Sentinel from your soul and put it into your hand, or you may perform cost, counterblast 1, choose a grade 3 normal unit from your soul and put it into your hand. That's how you can recycle personas. And act while it's in the soul. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater. Cost, bind this card, choose a normal unit without Sentinel from your drop, and put it to the bottom of your deck. Choose one of your Vanguards, and it gains plus 5k until the end of turn. Now for this one, I honestly don't see too much use, but it could be good for the Skyfell, Chris Rain, and Kyrie, but we'll have to see testing to see how that goes. Now, we're going to be going over the Festival Collection reprints. They announced that the Dual Nation cards, such as Soaring Sun Presence, Fortis Revertis, Dark Bonds Abyss, Surgus, and Dargage, Gallant Mechanical Agility, Valterosa, and Lael, Azure Sky White Scale, Aspera and Saphira, and Flame Leaf Chaotic Dance, Haskusuya, and Remred are all getting reprinted as triple rares in this set. Now going more specifically over Dragon Empire reprints. They are basically reprinting all the promos we've had throughout this past year, and that would include Dashing Dragon Aingerush, Stealth Dragon Doshun for Sojo Doji. The previous one is for the what I have on screen now. I can't remember what it was. Stealth Fiend Kawashime, which is actually used for Tamiyura, as the unlike what the Stealth Fiend name would suggest. Stormband Dragon, which is for Eugene or Gandiva. Construct Golem, which is a Triumph Dragon, and printed as commons are these 4 basic triggers. Dark States reprints Direful Doll Trachelia for Direful Doll deck, Diabolo Striker Orlando for Bruce, Netherworld Butcher for Blangmeyer, Platonic Prospector for Almagester or Evil Eye, Haughty Perez for Osalargus, and Miss Deeds Dragon for Chaos. And then those are the 4 triggers being reprinted. It's always good to see Alexandra come back so that new doll players can easily gain access to their heal trigger. For Brantgate, Vivacious Girl, that is for Astrum. Galactic Bee Hero Bash Bernstein, which is for the hero deck. Examination Monster Imagar, which can be used in Ava. Blitz Sails Still for Welstra. Resourceful Mechanic Winston for the Among Us deck. I forget what its original name is, so I have the actual card up on screen. And then the common triggers that are reprinted are the ones on the right. For Keter Sanctuary, Eternal Light Dragon, Reglester Dragon, which is for Bastion, Knight of Evil / Merrig for Thagria, or Deal Dragon, which is a blaster, which can be used in PBO, or Alfred, or the other blaster, or MLB. Circular Scissor Angel, which is for Serviceall, which is the Quick Start deck unit, and Soras, which is for Alden. And then, in addition to the triggers being reprinted, they are also reprinting Little Sage Marin and Wingle Brave in the Festival Collection. In Stoicheia, Sylvan Horn Beast Maliva for Magnolia, Nulahapoi Lekoi, which is also for Magnolia, Mythiarch Guardian Delphina for the Mythiarch deck, Mega Colony Battler Type C. It's been used in various decks, but nothing that makes it stand out. Happiness Noble Farod for Christianos. And Everspray Hunter Emergence for Roa. And then the triggers being reprinted are on the right. Lyrical Monasterio reprints. Flush Blush Frosella. This card is a generic, but it's a Vanguard unit, meaning it's supporting itself essentially. Well Wrapped Kafrona, which is used for Pacifica. Happy Influencer Lucissa, which is used for Marlene, which is the Lyrical Quick Start deck unit. Secret Maiden Poem Leverick, which is for Siana. And Beware of the Sneeze of Fireworks for Michu. And then it looks like we're getting our Halloween triggers reprinted. I always like Halloween. Or as they say, I like bats. I freaking love Halloween. They're also reprinting the Koro Koro collab cards that were not included for the actual Koro Koro set. Such as, like in the middle one, introducing Astrum behind Welstra's back, which took over the meta unexpectedly because it had both the name Astrum and Welstra in its name. And then, they announced this previously, but I'm going to reiterate, they're also reprinting Blaze Maiden Cindy for Bob Sagara, Gear Goat Leaping for Chronojet Dragon, and for Timestamp Dragon. Servant Falcratia, this card's been seeing a lot of use in Odium and also Drajuld. Cardinal Fang Raphalog, which is for Orphist. Go Ahead Makani, which has been seen used in both Chaos and in Messiah. Blue Skies Knight Hemveld, which is a Bastion card. And then we're actually getting our first printing of Blaster Blade the Vanguard, which is its own standalone card. They'll also be reprinting Blaster Blade. Mythiarch Habitat, which goes in any Stoicheia deck. Maple, which people have been using in either decks such as Luard, Rezael, and much more. It's just such a good card. Lyrical Shooting Star Special Issue, which is for Kyoka. And Cooling Heart Yoika. She's on her 7th reprint, but she is still very expensive. Now, we're going to be going over the Ace units in the Festival Collection. We've already covered him in the last video, but we'll reiterate. Dragritter Midgalo. So as a reminder, if you don't know what Ace units are, you may only have one Ace unit in your deck, and it has an Ace skill. Its Ace skill is when this unit is placed on the rear guard other than during the battle phase. This unit gets plus 5k until the end of turn. Cost, Energy Blast 3, draw a card, choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and until the end of this turn, all of the cards on that chosen rear guard circle lose all their abilities and cannot gain new ones. Then put the cards into the chosen rear guard circle into drop. Auto, when this unit attacks, if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater. Until the end of that battle, this unit gets plus 5 if your opponent has no rear guards, or your opponent's rear guards was put into drop by the ability of your cards this turn. This unit also gains another plus 5. It's also important to note, these cards do not have shields, so use these sparingly even though they are one-ofs. Funeral Procession of the Fallen Valak. This is the Dark States Ace unit. Its unique skill is, when this unit is placed in the rearguard circle other than during the battle, this unit gets plus 5 until the end of turn, Energy Blast 3, and then you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 card from among them, put it into your soul, shuffle your deck, then choose up to 1 card from your soul, and with a grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, and call it to the rearguard circle. And as a reminder, you may only use unique skills in a total of once per fight. Auto in the rearguard circle. When this unit attacks, this unit gains plus 5k if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, and if your soul has 5 or more cards, or you soul blast a total of 3 or more cards this turn, then this unit gets an additional plus 5. Brankgate's Ace unit, Vermil Extortia. Unique skill, auto. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle other than during the battle phase, this unit gets plus 5k to the end of turn. Cost, Energy Blast 3, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, choose 1 card from among them and put it to your hand, shuffle your deck. If your order zone has 2 of any player's cards, look at the top 5 instead of top 3. You may only use this once per fight. So I think this can be used in Prison, it can be used technically in Gravidia as well. Any of the order-centric decks, which is like the majority of Brankgate, which makes it such a good generic. Auto in the rearguard circle. When this unit attacks, if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, this unit gets plus 5 until the end of battle, and then you can rest one of your set orders in your order zone, and this unit gains an additional plus 5 until the end of turn. Mutual Thoughts Maiden Pansy. This is the Stoicheia Ace unit. Unique skill. When this unit is placed on the rearguard circle other than during the battle phase, this unit gets plus 5. What a shocker. Its Energy Blast 3 skill is look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 of them from among them, discard it, and then shuffle your deck. Then choose up to 1 card from your drop with a grade then less than or equal to your Vanguard's grade from among them, and call it to the rearguard circle. This is honestly pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. There's not too many outside of certain archetypes for revival in Stoicheia decks, so this card is a pretty good ace skill. Cater Sanctuary's Ace unit, Knight of White Iskrit. When its unit is placed other than during the battle, it gets plus 5. Energy Blast 3, look at top 7, choose 1 normal unit with a grade then less than or equal to your Vanguard and call it to the rearguard circle. Choose either that or this unit and it gets the red text. Continuous in the rearguard circle. This unit cannot be chosen or retired by your opponent's card abilities until the end of your opponent's next turn. Shuffle your deck. And then auto in the rearguard circle. When it attacks, if it attacks a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, plus 5k. If you have 4 or more rearguards, it gets an additional plus 5. So this is a Mythiarch Habitat, one of, but for Cater Sanctuary. Amantes Octavia, the Lyrical Monasterio Ace unit. Auto, when this unit is placed on the rearguard circle other than during the battle phase, it gets plus 5. Energy Blast 3, draw a card, choose one of your rearguards, and it gets the red text, auto in the rearguard circle. At the end of your turn, you may return this unit to hand, and it gains that skill to the end of turn. It also says auto in the rearguard circle. When this unit attacks, up an opponent's a grade 3 or greater Vanguard, gets plus 5k power. If you have 2 or more cards that were placed this turn, then it gets another plus 5. So this is used for decks such as Kyrie and Chris Rain for the most part. Looking ahead to next week. Next Tuesday, it is the Lost in Entertainment Prevents Card Game Festival. They'll be going over 6 double rare cards that are one for each nation that strengthen the Quick Start decks. And we can already see that they are showing off the art for the Keter Sanctuary one and the Lyrical Monasterio one. And then, next Thursday, they'll be going over the skills from set 9. They'll be going over Glistening Nebula Night Lord Ceres and its ride line and support, revealing the total of 9 cards, and introducing the Youthquake Volume 6 promo card. Thank you guys so much for watching, it means a lot. We'll be getting back to things as normal soon, I promise. Thank you guys so much for watching, I'll see you guys next time.